Are you ready to become awesomer? Hello, everyone. My name is Umar. I'm your host on the No Limit Selling podcast, where industry leaders share their tips, strategy, and advice on how you can become better, stronger, faster. Just before we get started, I've got a question for you. Do you have a negative voice inside your head? We all do, right? I'm going to help you remove that voice in under 30 days guaranteed. Not only remove it, but transform it. So instead of the voice that sabotages you, there's one that propels you to much higher levels of performance and success. There's a link in the show notes. Click on it to find out more. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling podcast. And today we have oh my God, I'm living in Toronto now, not Baltimore. We have a Baltimore boy with us.
That's right.
Steve Pipich, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
You know, it's crazy when you're moving around. I sold my house and I've been homeless and traveling for 17 months. And I was like, where am I?
Right. That's funny.
Brilliant. So how long have you been in real estate?
So I got my license in 2014, started selling in 2015.
Nice. And so tell me about your first transaction. Was
Okay.
it a listing or was it like helping a
Well,
buyer find a home?
Yeah, so I got my license in 2014, in January 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It took the entire year to learn the business. Didn't tell one person besides my wife and my immediate family that I was in real estate or wanted to get into real estate, right? In my mind, I wanted to know everything about the business before I told somebody and worked them and helped them out with their biggest purchase or biggest sale of the time.
Nice.
So I made my first sale when I started advertising myself, the end of 2014. First sale in March of 2015. It was a guy that I went to high school with. He became an investor, and I knew that he was in the business. And I reached out to him, I guess, a few months prior to the transaction happening. Handwritten note card, letting him know that I was in the business,
Right.
getting into the business, and if I can support any way of buying, selling, investing in real estate, I'd be happy to help. He reached out to me about probably a $75,000 townhome that he wanted to see. And I think it might have been on a holiday, and I
Right.
stopped what I was doing and
You're
went
like,
and showed
thank God.
That's right. He went up, not buying that property, but one soon after. He made a small commission, but that was,
Proof of concept.
without a doubt, absolutely.
Brilliant. And so how many transactions did you do last year?
So last year, personally, 140.
Oh, bravo. And as a team, I know you have a 27-person team. How did the team do? Total number of
Uh, last
transactions.
last year we sold 365, and the total volume is about 110 million.
Nice. So that's kind of interesting. In my worldview, if you have a sales team in
Hmm.
any industry, you've got the A players, you've got the B players, and the C players. C players struggle, and they probably always will. B players do a good job, and the A players walk on water. And oftentimes, the A players could be doing 40% of the volume just with a 2, 3 people there do 40% of all the volume. And here's the
Hmm.
thing that I think kind of breaks my heart is half of the B players have the same skill set as the A players, but the mindset isn't there. Would you say that's a true statement, or would you like to kind of change it in some way?
No, I would agree with that. And it depends. I mean, listen, what you put into it is what you get out, right? So the B
Yes.
players do very well. There's players on my team that you would consider B players potentially that are probably more skilled than I am in some ways in sales or selling real estate. For me, I just I put my heart and soul into it, and I care about what I do, and I don't have a ceiling. Like I care about every person I work with, and I just say yes to everything. So I would say that there is some truth to that. It's a matter of, again, there's everyone wants to have a life work balance, which is very tough to find in this industry, in this business. I got into this and I still produce because it's what I enjoy doing. It's what I got into the business, you know.
Nice.
So as you progress and you start selling real estate at a high level, you're to become a mentor or a leader and not selling real estate, but what if it's something I enjoy? I want to still be involved in it.
Yeah,
Um,
as you should. And I think that keeps you grounded as well. And you have a pulse on what's going on, as opposed to when you get disconnected, even though you're living it vicariously through your agents, sometimes you lose touch of that. So I think being grounded and doing what you love makes a lot of sense. And you're also walking your talk. Uh,
Hmm.
a dear friend of mine ran this headhunter company, and he's been in the was in the industry for 30 years. Had a great client roster, but every day he would prospect, and he wouldn't do it in his office. He'd come out to the bullpen and be on the phone, modeling the behavior he wanted everybody else in the company to do. It's like, doesn't matter how successful you get, you need to prospect, and I do it every day, and you should too. And I think that you doing your seeing clients making it happen and being highly successful at it is probably very inspirational.
It is, and I appreciate that. And granted, listen, I sold 140 homes last year, but I'm not showing every house as well. Yes, every listing appointment I go on, I have probably about 25% of my business is still investors or was investors in 2021. Different conversations, right? Not as emotional. It's more just numbers driven and down to the nuts and bolts. And I've leveraged in my team for showings and have had them work with my clients. So I'm not in the weeds as much, but it comes down to negotiating value or repairs. That's where I do get involved and kind of give them
Right.
my guidance. I want them to say at the end of the transaction, how was Steve? How was I working with Steve? I want them to say he was great. It was fantastic. He had a person that showed us the homes and she was lovely or he was lovely and he communicated us the whole way through and he made sure we're taken care of. I want that. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear we really did talk to him, but we had a good experience, which is okay too. It's all okay. Um,
Yeah. And so here's the interesting part, at least from my point of view. So when you're a leader of an organization, there are going to be times for certain people or all people where things get tough.
mhm.
And they need to leverage the confidence and the trust the leader has in the team and them because they don't have it themselves. And because that relationship is there, they get to do that. And right now, when you're dealing with clients, even though you're doing the handoff really quickly, they know and trust you. And because of that, they trust the person that's showing them the house. And they know if all else fails, you're just a phone call away. And that
Mhm.
just is your job, is to be that foundation that lets other people shine.
That's right. And I like going back to the point you mentioned before about being in the bullpen. That's where my office is. I'm in the corner, uh, in the middle of everybody. So I am in the weeds. I'm in the bullpen. And there's times where, listen, if we have a lead that comes across and it's a one that a person may not want based on price point or location, and if nobody wants that, then I'll raise my hand.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm willing to do this and you're not, then that's something that you should be aware of. Um, yeah.
So many moons ago in my early part of my career, we had to like clean the retail store and had to clean the
Mhm.
bathroom. And usually the junior person got to do that. And one day the junior person was saying, I don't want to do that. I don't think it's fair. And the boss stepped in and said, that's okay. I'll do it. And he just went in
Sure.
and did it. And not without, making anybody like, I'm going to shame you. It was just more like, he's doing it. I'm going to do it. And it was a
Mhm.
really good life lesson. And it's, you hear this cliche, when you're the leader, you're also the janitor. And if you're a great leader, that's what you are, because it's like, hey, if it needs doing, I'm going to do it. And it's, then you also get leaders like, the beatings will continue until the morale improves kind of people too, which I wouldn't want to work there at all.
Sure. No, it's not. That's not the funnest environment. And going back to your point before, you mentioned about the team and leveraging them. I want to grow through them, right? I mean, if I can grow my business and become this real estate mogul, but I'd rather grow through my people, empower them, give them the experience. They're naturally going to have the credibility and validity once I have my clients work through them. And it's never this is my assistant, this is my so and so, this is my sales partner, this is my teammate. You know,
Yeah,
they're never
absolutely.
they're never considered beneath me. Whenever somebody says, "How is your company going?" or "This is your company," no, it's our. This is not
Yeah.
about me. I very much want to make this about us. Yes, I'm the one who kind of started this, and you have to have a captain of the ship in some way. But I don't want to be recognized and known as like this is just my baby. No, this is something we've created together and built together. It's
So
important to me.
what's kind of interesting is, they've got all these pirate movies, Army mateys, you'll walk the plank. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of pirates, it was an elected office. Like the pirates all got together and said, okay, Steve's going to be our leader. And Steve, you better
Sure.
do a freaking good job. And you got command authority, but it could be taken away as well. And so it's very much, how do I support the ship and everybody on it? And we are a profitable, seagoing business. And I think
Hmm.
that's ultimately, if you can. build a business that's built around us. It gives you the freedom to uh, step away and go take a long vacation.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to open a new office that needs my attention. I know this, you guys got this. And I think the three things that a leader has to know really well and do really well is one, have a compelling kick-ass vision that allows people to go, that is worth fighting for.
Hmm.
Build a culture where people know that everybody in the company has their back, the processes they can trust in the leader, and it's about us and not me. And the third thing is, how do we build long-term shareholder value? And it sounds like you're doing check, check, check all three of those things really well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think culture is significant in our business, in my team specifically. I think that's kind of what created to what we have as a family type atmosphere and feeling. And I think that once you have that, everything else falls in place, right? There's the trust, there's the guidance, there's the loyalty. And yes, I'm very much of a visionary person, and I do
Nice.
hire. I'm weak. I hire integrators and ones that can actually do the work and execute on things that I may not be the best at. And I'm aware of where I'm weak, and I'm constantly being aware of the market and where it's going and what we need to do to pivot, which is we're constantly doing and doing currently.
So, without naming names, who's one person on your team that you can clearly see that this person could be fabulous? And how are you mentoring them to kind of get the skill set or the mindset to step into whatever that role is? And it might just be a more bolder agent, or it could be, you could potentially be a partner. Like, is there somebody right now that you're looking at and figuring this is how I'm going to mentor them to help them achieve their potential?
Yeah, I mean, so as I think two people on the team, but one is it's a friend of mine, and he is I would say our lead agent on the team. He's been with me for about the longest anybody else has been, which is when I created the team back in, let's say, 2018, just by hiring my first two admins. He
Yes.
was an agent, brand new agent in middle of 2019, and he very much is a cheerleader for the team, celebrates the wins, and also stepped up as a mentor for some of our newer and you know, um, I guess B-level
Your
agents, so to
agents?
speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
so he is committed to them and holds one-on-ones weekly, and there for just sometimes just as a therapist, just to kind of soundboard with them and hear where they are in their business, and just again be a friend um, a cheerleader. So he is someone that I, culturally speaking, represents our business very well, with integrity. Whenever there's a situation and it comes to where he is challenged with something, and he'll explain to me, Steve, this is my mindset, this is my thoughts, this is what I did. I would never question his acts because he always operates with integrity every
Ah,
time.
love that.
That's how I operate as well. Always doing the right thing, never cutting corners, never doing something that is looked at in a bad way. I would rather take a loss myself than someone else take a loss, just because it salvages my reputation and my image.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the
I'm
most
a-
important thing. So, Steve,
yeah,
who out there in the landscape in Baltimore, DC, who's a team leader out there that you kind of go, yeah, they're doing a really great job, and I'm gonna steal some techniques. That's the ultimate, way to honor someone is say, I love what they're doing. I want to do that too. So, who's a mentor for you out there?
sure. I mean, I have a lot of mentors, locally in our market. There's a few friends that I have that I'm close with that we, mastermind, talk about the
Like who?
wins,
Who are these
points.
guys and gals?
Specifically, okay, so Amy Balzerzak,
Hmm.
Michael Schiff,
Close
uh,
friends.
India Whitlock. These are all people that I've at one point was in the same brokerage with. Tina
Nice.
Bello, Vlad Katz, in the same brokerage with altogether, and people that I look up to still to this day, regardless of transactions, regardless of volume, regardless of agent count. Look up to each of these people.
Yeah. So,
Um,
what's kind of interesting is this: like each one of those people, if they've got a secret on how to do this thing, and you ask them what's your secret, the first thing they're going to do is open up the book.
mhm.
How can I help you do this? And that's great leaders really step up and they share openly because they realize that there's no such thing as a finite market. There is an unlimited market. And if you
Sure.
start getting that mindset of, oh, I got to hold this secret, or I got to get this deal, and it's like it just changes your way of being. And it's like being generous and always learning is a great way to just stay at the top of your game.
It is. I mean, we collaborate, and there's, of course, you have your own tricks of the trade. You don't want to share everything, but a lot of us will share our what we do, our structure, workflow. Can't get into compensation models, but we talk about just about everything else in some way of what that looks like for our team, for retention, for recruiting, for growth within our team. Um, and I'm amazed by each person too. Like,
Nice.
I can't, Annie specifically, I can't wrap my mind around how she has the time to do what she does, but it's because she cares about her people. And I see the people on her team, how much they love her and respect her. And, she will get in the dirt, in the weeds to help someone out and let them grow. And it's about the people around you as well.
Yeah.
Um, just making sure you have the right people on the bus that will, uh, make your business look as best as it can, and take it in the right way. Um, it's all about the people.
Absolutely. So, Steve, right now, a lot of realtors happen to be in Canada right now are like, oh my God, the market's changing, the interest rates are going up. Like one of the realtors in Canada I was talking to was that, there's this tech guy, works for a tech company, earns a decent living, and he got this $1 million house, and his mortgage payment is $2,500, and now it's going up to $4,500 a month,
Sure.
which is like a shock to the system, but there are still transactions happening. So what are three pieces of advice you'd give agents right now to not freak out and grow their business? Because there's opportunity now to grow your business. It doesn't have to implode unless you let it. So what are three pieces of advice you'd give them?
Yeah, so this is my first time in a changing market. Right, again, I've been in the
Nice.
business for 7, 8 years, and from what I've been told was that if you had a team in the late '90s and you were a big team and booming, you kind of made it through that first initial housing crisis. If you're a team in the early 2000s, you probably didn't make it through 2008 market,
Hmm.
right? And now teams that are post 2008 are what's around now, and they're experiencing this pain points and these challenges. So what I would say, in my opinion, to an agent that was experiencing the market change now, one is that if you have an objection, educate them. If it's, hey, I don't know that this is the right time to buy because of rates, educate them on why it maybe is the right time to buy. Right? Yes, rates are where they are, and of course, what they were a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, that was an abnormal market, and just kind of wipe that out of your brain. You may get that point at some later time in life, in your career,
It can
but
happen
not
in the
maybe
next 10 years. Yeah.
you get a raise by doing nothing. Um, and so one is just educating your clients for whatever objections they have. If there is a need for a service, give them a resource. So it's about, hey, I don't have someone to get financing, or hey, my credit score is low. Okay, here's a lender. Here's a credit repair company. Give them to someone, right? Uh, and three, I would just say continuously engage more in your business and your database than you ever have before. In the past 2 years, 3 years, we were so much service in our business and not lead generating. For
Right.
me, it was just come list me, or come help me buy this, submit an offer for this. It was very much transactional. And I knew in my mind, I'm going to work as hard as I can now because this is business that is coming to me and very easy. Now we have to change our business structure to lead generating and engaging with our sphere, whether it's through mailers, phone calls, client events, whatever it may be. Just being in front of your clients as much as you can, because when this market does turn, and who knows when it may, or what may happen, you want to be lead generating. And if you continue that lead generation, like they say in Gary Keller's Shift book, you will capture so much more business.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And I
and
think our
exist.
friend Michael Schiff, because they're like hunters, they're like prospecting. They had a prospecting day where they wanted to do 1,000 conversations that day, and they ended up doing 1,000 conversations with their entire team. And the business that flowed in from that activity was just like freaking amazing.
Sure.
So brilliant. It's words to live by. So, Steve, a few last questions. Number one, what brings you joy in your professional life?
Growth. I'm always looking to continuously, raise the bar. So again, we are. realizing what's changing in the market with commission compression, with trying to keep as much dollar as we can for every transaction, so different buckets. So in that space, just realizing what's happening and just being a part of that in some way, and growing the team organically, but with people that I like, respect, and want to work hard. So that if anybody thinks of our team and they think of myself and my leaders, they think, man, like that's a good business. And if an offer comes across, like that is a company that we want to work with. So just continuing the reputation in a positive light.
Love that. What's one mind hack you'd like to share with the listeners? Something that would allow them to be more productive, happier, sexier? What's that one thing you want to
Um,
share?
sure. And for transparency, we didn't prepare for any of this stuff. So this is all off the cuff. So I would say that, a lot of you have to time block and be purposeful with your calendar.
Mhm.
If your sign on your calendar doesn't exist, and I put everything on my calendar, everything. And so for me, there's not a specific time where I do lead generate. There's not like a 9 to 11 time where I'm lead generating only, right? I'm lead generating all day. Get up at 6 in the morning, go to bed at 10 p.m. at night. I'm lead generating the entire time. Yes, not on my phone or not on the computer the entire day, but I'm consistently always trying to um, build my database, add more people to there, make as many contacts as I can. So I would say, yeah, just lead generating all day. Just don't focus on one specific time period. Just
Yeah,
always ask for business and continuously add new people into your database, regardless of how big you are or in your business or how comfortable you are. Just continuously grow.
the database is key. Uh, Steve, is there any question I should have asked you that I did not?
There's a lot of questions you can ask me, but no, I mean, I would say that this is a healthy conversation. I would say where the market's going and where agents are doing is kind of important. Of getting into these different spaces and different buckets of different businesses. I think it's important, for us as agents to be aware of.
Brilliant. Steve, thanks so much for spending time with me today. Learned a lot, and we're going to make sure we get that piece of advice for agents right now. Don't freak out. Focus and build your business.
That's right.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.